So here we are, Hidden Hills, California. We're standing in front of the most massive hillside we've ever landscaped. There's over 40 feet of elevation change, and it's just about an acre. There's so many unique elements about this property, we can't wait to show you guys.
Let's go for a tour.
Starting at the base here, down at the ground, we had to start with a transition piece. So we did this formal Imagine style archway, which we do on a lot of our projects. This is one of our signatures, and it just opens you up to the space. This is the start of your journey.
This is the entryway that leads you into the most insane project you're ever gonna see.
So coming up, Carly's walking on these stairs, and the idea here was to have these concrete steps almost feel like they're floating. You know, the inspiration behind this was to kind of collide the natural world with the formal world, which we talk about a lot. So we did the natural ground cover. It's called Creeping Jenny between all the joints. We have our drip irrigation throughout, so it's properly getting irrigated, and we're obviously conscious about the drought here, so we wanted to make sure we encompassed all that. You know, this project started about technically a year ago, and me and the client were talking, and we actually connected over social media. And we came out here and there was nothing on this hill. It was completely barren, and he wanted to take advantage of his hillside and give him something aesthetically to look at. So this is what we did. We have all these different unique elevation changes, and we used elements here we haven't used in the past. You know, concrete, wood, a lot of grasses. And truly the start of the project was we established a vineyard look. So there's these large ficus flanking the left and right side of the property, and we wanted it to feel like it was a California vineyard, and that's where the inspiration started. You come up to your first landing. The idea was to not honestly get too tired walking up too many stairs, so we wanted all these transition points, these little cool destination spots. So we come to our first landing here. Behind me, we have our blue low-grow agave, and they kind of give us that succulent feel. They break up the landscape a little bit. They have that blue hue to them, and it reflects really well off our black metal. It was very important for us to feel grounded throughout the space, and real grass in California is a little more difficult, so we did this artificial grass. It's more drought tolerant, and it looks great all the time. Here we are at the treehouse, one of our favorite parts of the property. When we first came here, we saw this beautiful California pepper. It reminded us of home, so we knew we had to do something special here.
Jack and I have a beautiful willow tree in our backyard at home in Michigan. So when we saw this California pepper, it reminded us of her, and we wanted to celebrate this tree. So that's exactly what we did, starting with this beautiful walk, almost like a ritual to the first sanctuary you're about to see. What awaits you on the other side of that pepper tree is this beautiful daybed we created. Our metal team and I designed this to be the place you can chill and enjoy all the views of the property. It's covered with some walnut wood for a little bit extra shade and flanked by beautiful wisteria on right and left side.
Additionally, driving through the mountains and here in California, we fell in love with this grass, and this is a native species to California here, so you'll kind of see we sprinkled that throughout the landscape. As we come off our first landing here and head to the right, I wanted you to feel like you're walking across a bridge with water going below. So we have these blue fescue that emulate the water flowing down underneath the bridge, and what they do is they start up top and they work their all the way down through here, and they take you right down to the entryway. The cool thing about this is they start right in the middle of the California pepper tree, so the story makes sense as it all flows together. We blended a lot of different materials here. You see, you have the grass and the metal, the concrete and the wood, but they all can coexist in harmony, and that's the beauty behind it. We actually have a significant elevation change from one side of the property to the other, and we didn't want that to feel too great. We wanted it to still look flat, so what we do is we gradually have all these little steps throughout the landscape. Again, here's our native species grass, backed with our blue fescue grass, so you have all these beautiful colors working together. One of our main goals here was to work around the existing landscape. So as you can see, there's all these large eucalyptus trees and all these other varieties of California native species. We wanted to keep those. It was really important to us. So you kind of navigate your way through these trees on the property, but we're really glad we kept all these and we just worked around them. When we first did the project, this was our very first area we worked on. we were very limited on equipment. We had a ton of manpower here because the slope of the hill, we weren't able to use many machines. So this is where we started. Most of this was done by hand. Over 1 million pounds of bulk material was moved on and off this hill.
By buckets and wheelbarrows alone.
If you just do that math, it's quite significant. And we've been here for around 68 days. So we've had 40 to 50 people working on this job site every single day. And this is the money shot. This is what we're celebrating here. The beauty of the hillside, the beauty of the elevation. A lot of times elevation scares people, but if you embrace elevation, you can get very creative with it.
And one of the ways we like to celebrate elevation is by adding in floating elements. So this is a cantilevered hammock, and it is a dual nest hammock. You may have seen something like this before on one of our projects, but this is double the size and double the comfort.
We were able to get a pretty decent flat space up here, considering the significant change on elevation. It's about 32 by 12.
So by integrating this floating hammock nest, we were able to actually extend the usable square footage of this space. And now you have this beautiful coastal element where you can enjoy everything that California has to offer.
And the beautiful thing about this entire space, you could probably have 30 people up here comfortably. We wanted this to step down so people can sit here and chill out while other people are in the nest. People can congregate around the fire pit.
And speaking of all that California has to offer, obviously that's a lot of sun. So what we did is we flanked the right and left side of the nest with these beautiful olive trees to not only create privacy, but also create shade.
Getting a tree this size on a hill like this was not an easy task. We had, I think, 15 people moving each tree in. We had to build a little jig to hold the trees, and we actually did it like the ancient times, and we carried them down into these locations. And it's a beautiful sunny day right now, but you should see this place at night. And of course, we got to shout out our boys at Inlight. They always make it happen for us. We decked it out with lighting. This place is crazy at night. So coming down to our second staircase, again, we have over 40 to 50 foot of elevation change. And I talked about the beginning as you walk through this vineyard space. We've been very inspired by the elements here in California, so this was inspired by the Malibu Pier. We have our natural wood elements. We have over 47 steps and over 400 timbers used on this hillside.
So as we make our way to the other side of this hill, this feels like a boardwalk guiding you right over. So the interesting thing about this staircase is it was actually never on the plans to begin with, but we had no way to get up the hill. So we added this in and it became our access point for pretty much everything you see on this hillside.
And before these stairs came in, we actually carved natural steps into the hillside, and that was our access off the beginning. And what makes this place really special is we actually redid the front yard as well. And we took all the landscaping from the front and we were actually able to almost repurpose everything. So if you see all these globes, most of these are from the front yard and we were able to reuse them. So while we're working our way down this hillside, I just want to take a second and recognize all the hardworking people that have came and sacrificed time and energy into this hillside. Our team came from Michigan, for a couple months out here, and moving all this material up and down this hill was no easy feat. This was an extremely challenging project.
Just the blue agave alone, each plant took 4 men to carry up the hillside. So imagine how many souls it took to create this lush landscape.
There's over 5,000 plants on this hillside alone. So you can imagine all the up and down. We started clocking it, and we were walking between 6 and 7 miles a day uphill, just working on this project. Coming down this slope, obviously safety was our main concern. So we built this railing in. And our metal team, every metal element you see on this hillside was built in-house by our talented metal team. On site, they came all the way from Michigan. They were here the whole time, and the result is amazing. So here to wrap up this journey, we just have a couple days left in California, and we're just super blessed. We were able to connect with an amazing client, first of all, and me and him have been talking since last March, and that's over a year ago. And thankful that our team was able to come out here, and we have our team back home that was actually able to take care of things back there. We have a lot of people to thank, from the workers to the vendors to the food truck that came every single day. There's tons of people to thank. This took an army. This was not an easy feat, and we just couldn't have done it without them, and we're just gonna keep on cruising and just keep pushing the limits, because that's what we do.
And so that concludes the tour of the hillside. But stay tuned, because we also redid the front yard, and we've got some other elements that we'd like to show you guys. So stay tuned for the next video, and that's it for now.